and adjustments made at the halftime last night. But the Tigers take a big step last night. Our record goes to 5-2 on the season and 2-0 in the district, taking pretty much a commanding lead in the district. But before we get into the game, and we'll talk about a couple of plays here, nothing more bizarre than, in my mind, than Union County scoring on the last play they had it in the first half when their quarterback was under heavy pressure and just happened to be able to get off a pass, and then the Union County receiver turns it into a 28-yard touchdown run that covers about 85, 90 yards the way he ran.
I think Coach McClung explained that pretty good at halftime. I think Gabe East made the hit on the kid when he made the catch, and we missed that tackle. But and I watched the film on it this morning. We had kids that quit on that play that were just jogging and on the backside, and that was a big play right before half. And Coach McClung really he explained it as good as it could be explained as to what happened, and it's something that should have never happened.
Well, we thought in our position in the booth, it was on our side of the field down in the flat area that he got hit 3 or 4 times, and then maybe it was tag football after that, the way we were trying to get after him, pull his flag out. But a big play for them going into halftime with momentum. As it turns out that maybe that's what got us corrected or on the right page at halftime. But prior to getting into the first half of last night's game, what were your thoughts about last night's game, prior, during, and after?
Well, going into the game, I felt like we had really good days of preparation. Our attitude was great, but you had homecoming going on, which you can use that as an excuse, which I don't. But and then they had the fact that we'd beaten Tillman, Crittenden had beaten Union, and our kids and we'd beaten Crittenden, and all that. And everybody's saying this is a trap game, and this we got to be ready to play. And our kids came out. I saw it in pregame, and I think all of our coaches saw it in pregame how we warmed up. Coach Mike even talked about it at halftime about when we went through pregame, the kids just weren't. You can tell as a coach you've been around long enough, and
just didn't have that extra hop and
just didn't seem
glint in their eye. Then
exactly.
As it turns out, it was a great night last night through the air with Joby hitting 6 touchdown passes on the trail of 5 touchdown passes the week before. So really, we're opening it up through the air for sure, as we know we have the capability. We'll look at the first half right now as we turn into the game. Union County wins the toss, defers, and they get a big kickoff return on the opening kickoff, and it looked like that play from our position in the booth was run in slow motion. We looked like kids were stepping around. We never could get to the ball carrier until he was 50 yards upfield, it appeared.
What, the first touchdown?
Yes, the first kickoff that they ran back.
The kickoff.
Yeah.
What happened on that one? They kicked it to the right side. And all of our guys on the left side of the field, they kind of leave their lanes and they open up that side of the field. And we had 2 kids on that side that was their first time, and to be on a kickoff, and we made a mistake there on our coverage, big mistake.
Well, they get the big kickoff return to their 46-yard line. They maintain possession for nearly 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, finally stalling at our 34-yard line, and then they get off a little pooch kick that gets into the end zone. Were you all aware of the pooch kick? We didn't know what was coming on that play.
They had not shown that I'd seen on film.
So, fortunately for us, it did get into the end zone, and we take over at our 20 and begin a 9-play drive that results in a touchdown. Joby on this particular drive goes 6 for 6, hitting 4 different receivers. The big play in this drive was a 32-yard run by Jameer to the Union County 10-yard line. I'm going to ask Coach Will what he saw to make that call, or was it just part of your planned progression of plays?
It was part of the plan going in, and Jameer made a pretty good run, cutting it back and just making a play. and he does a pretty good job on that play right there. He has good vision and is patient, and makes a cut and goes.
It was a play that obviously kept the drive alive, and then 4 plays later, Joby hooks up with Oliver on the first of Oliver's 3 touchdown catches on a 5-yard pass. Union County's possession, Caldwell County's possession eats up practically the whole first quarter. Caldwell County, with the extra point by Barrett Schultz, leads at this point 7-0. And again, it's one of these situations where we take the ball, we end up scoring in the way we do it, running and passing, but it was not a harbinger of what was to come when we began to lay the ball on the ground and get it intercepted later on in the first half. Union County gets another big kickoff return down the far sidelines in the Caldwell County territory at the Tiger 34, and for a while it looked like he may go all the way on that particular kickoff return.
I thought he was gone.
And I'm not sure who ran him down and forced him out of bounds. Was it Dylan Cavanaugh or?
I know the first one was our kicker. Schultz made the play on the first kickoff return. I don't know who got the second one.
So again, we were having the same breakdown on that particular side again, as we just mentioned on that. But Union County can't do anything with field possession. They go 3 and out, and they try another pooch punt that is half shanked and just about blew up in their face because Trail picks it off in midair where their downfield coverage had gone past him, and he gets past one man. He may have himself a punt return there.
Yeah, it was smart play.
So the Tigers, I think Trail actually does bring it back about 5 yards. Tigers take over at the Union County 39-yard line, and on the second down of that next series, Jameer is stopped for a 9-yard loss and fumble. We don't know whether he was hit causing the fumble or he was stripped over there. He had his back to us on the far sideline.
I couldn't tell from where I saw the ball go on the ground, but I don't know how it came out.
So Caldwell County then has their first turnover of the first half. Union County takes over, and then on their first play, they fumble, turning it over at our 24-yard line. So it was a game of turnovers at that point. But here again, we come back with our next possession, and first down, Joby is intercepted, and Union County has it at their 45-yard line. Again, Union County was getting a lot of pressure on Joby, and their pass coverage was a little bit better than I thought it would be going into the game.
They did a good job in what they schemed out on us. And number 24 at safety, he did a really good job breaking on the ball. He made some plays on some of those deep balls that we didn't see that on film. But the play that we threw the interception on to Travis, what Joby will see on film is the other side of the field was the side he probably should have gone to. Jameer was open, and so was Oliver. But that sometimes happens.
And speaking of the pressure that Union County was maybe beginning to bring, Coach McClung, did we get more pressure last night than we felt like we were going to get from them, even though they have a pretty physical front line, front three, front four?
Well, they when they gave us pressure, it was usually out of the forefront. They didn't blitz a whole lot. They were just getting pressure. They're tough kids, and they Union County kids, they've always kind of been pretty tough, and they're going to play hard. And I think that what offensive line sometimes that we kind of, because we're a pretty explosive offense at times, we got some guys that take some plays off, and when that happens, sometimes you get pressure and you get guys up in the quarterback's face, or you get busted for a tackle for a loss, and that's something we got to improve on because Union County, they didn't do a bunch of unique stuff. They were rushing 4 or 5 guys, and I think most of the time it was 4 guys. So, we got to be able to protect better.
And they do take over possession there, and then they go 55 yards in 3 plays, the final play being a 42-yard gallop up the middle by their good running back. And on that play, David, he just broke the middle. Where was our safety? On the rushing on the edge? Or?
Yeah, we were in man coverage, and we got 3 guys in the middle that all 3 of them did kind of their own thing. I had one linebacker that ran up in the hole and took on the fullback, but he didn't. He stopped in the hole. I had a backside linebacker that went the wrong way, and then I had a nose guard that thought he could spin. He could pick a side and then try to spin back. And when you're in man coverage, that's what can happen.
Well, he breaks the middle and he's off. Nobody within 15 yards of him. So they score on that play. Their extra point is good, and at this point in the game, Caldwell County 7, Union County 7. Caldwell County gets the next kickoff, and it's a short pooch. They probably had been looking at prior film because we usually have a history of returning kickoffs against them, but they pooched it all night long last night, and we get the short pooch. First time, this was probably the time where I thought we might leave it on the ground and they may recover because we had a guy step away from the football where I felt like he maybe could have fair caught it. It hits the ground, and then Ben Holt gets on it for us.
Yeah, Sis was fair caught that ball right there, or either caught and ran it.
Or take it in midair and run. But we get it our 29-yard line, pick up 2 first downs. With Derek with a 12-yard run and Jameer with a 6-yard run, and Joby with a 7-yard run. Then we have three completions, pass completions on this drive that net a negative 5 yards. Passing game at this time was going backwards, Coach Will.
Yeah, we there was a couple screens there, I think, that we just didn't get some blocks on the edge with our receivers. And that kind of put us behind the sticks there.
Then we punt, and again, the only punt that Tripp Branch makes all night long, he punts it to the Union County 23 and with no return. Another one of those balls that hits the ground, picks up about 15 yards on the bounce, turns out to net him 34 yards on the punt. Union County, on their possession, picks up 1 first down, and they can't overcome a holding penalty. And they punt with the Tigers taking over at the Union County 49-yard line. Caldwell County starts this drive with a 13-yard pass completion to Oliver Parker, followed by 2 runs by Derek Hollowell of 14 yards total. And on 1st and 10, Joby is intercepted in the end zone, again under really tight coverage by the defensive secondary. That was his second interception of the night and our 3rd turnover. Union County begins the drive at their 20. Ball brought out to the 20-yard line. They slowly move on the ground. And with time running out late in the first half, as play we talked about earlier in the show, the quarterback scrambles. And I thought we were going to get to him before he dumps that ball off. And in my mind, he was fortunate that receiver was in that spot at that particular time because he ran for about 3 or 4 seconds trying to get out of the pocket and get free, but he gets the pass off. The kid catches it and takes it 28 yards to the end zone despite several efforts by the Tigers to try to bring him down. Extra point was good, and at that time, with a few seconds left of the first half, it's Union County 14, Caldwell County 7. Tigers then have a chance to run 2 plays, and on the second play of that next drive, Joby's intercepted to end the first half. Turnover number 4 for the Tigers in the first half. But halftime couldn't come soon enough last night, David, and we'll be back to talk with you and the coaching staff about what we do at halftime after a message from these sponsors.
At Caldwell Medical Associates, we believe our surgical services are truly exceptional. Our highly trained surgeon, Dr. Sue Petty, along with a team of skilled nurses and technicians, provide years of experience in a wide range of procedures, including outpatient, laparoscopic, and general surgery. Let us be your partner for better quality health care right here at home. To make an appointment, contact Caldwell Medical Associates at 270-365-0332. That's 270-365-0332.
Now is a great time to send your loved ones and friends a bright and beautiful bouquet from Treasures Remembered Florist and Greenhouse. Call or come by and let our professionals design a beautiful color bouquet for the special ones in your life. Brighten someone's day with a quick visit or call Treasures Remember at 600 West Locust Street in Princeton. Phone is 270-365-2556.
Do you have a big event coming up and need some cooking done, like a private party, a business affair, a street fair, or even a car show? Any event that you need to satisfy a crowd, let Big John's Barbecue cook for your next event. Big John's Barbecue cooks Caldwell County's finest barbecue, from ribs, brisket, pulled pork, or chicken. Big John's can meet the needs of your event. They can also do sweet treats, and they can customize the menu by request. So give Big John's a call today. You can call or text your orders at 270-625-0565 or 270-601-0717. And be sure to follow Big John's Barbecue on Facebook to see where they're going to be next. They're in town 2 to 3 days a week. That's Big John's Barbecue, serving Caldwell County's finest barbecue. You can give them a call or text at 625-0565 or 270-601-0717. That's Big John's Barbecue.
And welcome. We're here at halftime of last night's game. David, what did you and or other members of the coaching staff deliver to our players?
Well, I got in the locker room. Coach Riley, he was already getting on the D-line pretty good, and Coach Mack was getting on pretty good, the defensive side of it. And Coach McClung, the main thing Coach McClung, he can talk about it is he talked about that touchdown, our effort on the second touchdown we gave up, and then Will talked to him and I talked to him. I kind of took a different route. I didn't jump on him or anything, and I said the best football team is in this locker room, but we went out on the field, we didn't show that. We got 24 minutes to go prove ourselves, and which team's going to go on the field? We're going to leave it in this locker room. We're going to go out and win the football game, and unfortunately, we came out and played a lot better second half.
And Coach McClung, what things that you said to the team you think resonated with them last night?
Well, I like I said, I didn't yell because I'm not trying to diminish Union County because they're tough kids and they played hard, but it was embarrassing. That was a pitiful display of football from us in the first half, and I was embarrassed, and I was embarrassed for them. I was embarrassed for myself because, I know what kind of potential we have, and that half was really it was awful. And 15, 16-year-olds, 17, 18-year-old kids are very unpredictable, and sometimes you don't know what's going through their heads. But we have a half like that in a playoff game, we'll be turning in equipment on Monday.
Well, and obviously to these kids' credit, they came back out obviously more focused than maybe when they had started the game. Union County at this point in the game had more or less 180 yards of total offense to Caldwell's 110. Big part of that coming on the opening drive of the game, where the Tigers scored on our first possession in the first half. So coming out at halftime, and again, homecoming played before the game. I don't know whether that has an impact on the players as they come out to start the game, but at halftime, it's back to business as usual, nothing going on, and we do get the ball to start the second half, and we take over at our 30, and we have 3 runs totaling 14 yards by De'Eric, followed by a major penalty against Union County, and we have the ball at the Union County 43. A wide receiver screen from Joby to Travis Newsom. That play is called, and just from our vantage point, the blocking on that play was set up beautifully, and Travis catches it. Really, I don't think he gets touched. He goes for a touchdown, but a nifty piece of running by him and weaving his way downfield and running away from pressure, if you will. Coach Will?
The last couple of weeks we've really done a better job blocking on the screens. Jameer did a nice job on the kick out of the corner, and then our offensive line, Luke Snowens, Ben Thompson, and Dalton Haney were kind of there to lead the way, and we got on one guy, and it was a pretty easy touchdown for Travis. This morning I saw in the paper, I always tell those guys up front, if they get out there and get in front, they'll get their picture in the paper. So I think on that play.
Picture was in the
Yeah.
paper.
And
The
Hager in the
step,
picture.
he was in that part of the field. He was step for step with Travis, and you can
He's
see
done a good job all year, really, of getting downfield and getting on people. And that was a big play coming out in that first
there's
shot.
3 or 4 times this year we've applauded Luke Stallings and Ben Thompson and the wide receiver on that play from making their blocks and sealing off people. All you have to do is seal people off.
But I watched the film of that this morning, and this is the thing about that play. If you watch how fast we're going on that play and how hard we're playing on that play, you'll see a stark difference between our tempo in the first half. You see a flash on that play of what we can do when everybody goes full speed and everybody executes what they're supposed to do, what we can do.
In my mind, when that play was developing, all I could see was some coach sitting in a video room with the TV announcer focusing on how this play is run successfully.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was set up beautifully, and we take it in. Barrett adds the extra point. This point, just barely into the second half, a minute 30 some odd into the second half, we're tied 14-14. And again, the drive to open the second half, I think I've heard it throughout my life, is crucial, especially if you're down. And we came out and had to prove a point early on, I think, David.
That was a big thing to start the half. Is we came out, we were executing well, and to get that thing in the end zone, get the tank game tied up, it really did a lot for our confidence.
And Union County, now receiving the kickoff, does not get a big kickoff return. So I think we cleaned up some of our kickoff coverage maybe at halftime. I don't know whether Coach Riley was speaking to that at half, but we didn't let them get anywhere near upfield. In fact, I think they only averaged about 22 yards a kickoff return, and on 6 kickoff returns, and maybe 100 of that came on the first 2 plays. So they really get nothing the next 4 kickoffs they bring back. And they pick up 3 first downs all on the ground, and Seals Porty had a big night last night, all on the ground, over 100 yards. And again, we were noticing he was able to pick up 3 and 4 yards a carry. And then when it got close to 3rd and 2 or whatever, 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, they ran the quarterback sneak. And really, it didn't seem like they were getting 3 and 4 yards, but that's what you'd see when they would spot the ball. So were they picking on a certain defensive side last night, Aaron, when they ran that, or they just?
No, I think some of the times they were getting yardage on it because they were just snapping the ball before we get ready. And, that's on us. When the center's got his hand on the ball, we ought to be ready to go. And we got guys walking around and waiting for a snap count. And it was one of those situations where the quarterback probably just goosed the center and got the snap. There was no snap count, and we're walking around not ready to go. So when that happens, they're going to get 3 or 4 yards.
Well, and it looked pretty easy for them to do that on maybe three or so quarterback sneaks last night. But Union County then cannot do anything with the ball, and they face a 4th down, and they have a bad snap on 4th down. And I really didn't know whether they were intending to try to pooch it or pass it or what, but the quarterback was not under center. And do y'all think he was trying to pass it?
I think he was trying. I think they had a pass call.
He looked like he was confused by the snap. He didn't judge the snap properly at all. But anyway, it gets on the ground, and we go back, and it is recovered, but it is a turnover on downs, and the Tigers take over at the Union County 46. And immediately, Joby hits Demir with a 17-yard pass play, 2 pass incompletions, and a 6-yard loss by De'Eric. Has it 4th and 15, and a pass to Travis sails high down the near sideline on our side, but the ball is overthrown. Travis leaps, and a couple seconds later is blown up by a defensive guy from Union County, and the flag is thrown, and Union County gets penalized, resulting in us only having now to face 4th and 1, and Derek picks that up with a 2-yard run on that. But I felt that was the right call. Y'all were Aaron had a better view than you, David. You're across the field, and the crown gets in your way of seeing what's going on over there, but you could probably see he was blasted.
Who's on our
It
side?
was
on your sideline.
Yeah.
'Cause I didn't. I couldn't see it 'cause
right
it
in
was
front of
on
me.
the sideline.
It's the exact same play that Travis got hurt on last year, same situation. But the referee made the right call. It's a defensive
Yeah, it's
player.
on our side, yes.
But the referee made it. I don't think Union can agree with it, but that was the right call on that. And,
Well, we didn't see the flag go down, but I mean, he was just literally drilled in the back, which I thought was obviously illegal this year, and that, but it helped.
I'll say this: that guy, he was right on it, and he made the call real quick. There are other referees that may not have made that call, but that was
The
definitely-
sideline official.
Yes.
That did that.
Yes.
Well, anyway, after Derek picks up the first down, Travis gets his revenge on the next play with an 18-yard touchdown pass from Joby, and Barrett Schultz adds the extra point, and we lead second drive of the second half. 2 touchdowns on the board, Caldwell County up 21-14. Union County, again, doesn't get good field position on the kickoff, taking over at their 33, and they immediately go backwards, a 10-yard loss, which is a sack by Dylan Cavanaugh, followed by another sack of the quarterback, forcing a fumble, and the Tigers recover at the Union County 6-yard line. Again, the Tigers get a holding penalty, pushing us back, and finally on the Joby hooks up with Oliver in a pass thrown to a deep corner route, and all Oliver does on that play is go up and out jump the defender who had good coverage on him.
That's a great catch, and you're right. He went up and made the catch over the top of that kid, and that's some of that stuff we work on every day on where throw it where they can't be picked, and where our guys got a chance to catch it. And Oliver did a great job of making a play right there.
And that was a pretty long pass in the air. I think Joby was on this near sideline and threw across the field to the far corner of the end zone, probably in the air 35 yards, and put it in a spot where the quarterback, having good coverage on Oliver at that time, could not get to the ball. Oliver out jumping him and making the catch. And so we have the ball 3 times in the second half. We put 3 points on the board. We missed the extra point on this time. And again, Barrett, he was the one I think that picked up the errant snap, and he gets thrown down. The second time this year he's been thrown to the ground rather violently. So we're going to have to teach him maybe to do a little hip swivel and reverse his field.
Well, he's been told just to throw it away on extra points because they can't run it back. So he's been told. I coach the extra point team, and I try to tell him, you don't have to take a hit. Just throw it away. I don't even care if they intercept it. But
they can't pick the ball up and
no,
return
they can't
it
run
like
it
a
back
fumble.
for any points. So there's no reason for him to take a hit. No reason.
Well, maybe after the second one of these he's had this year, he might understand what you've been trying
he used to play football, and I think part of the problem is he gets the ball in his hands and he wants to run it, and
wants to make a play, which is not bad. And so Union County, again on their next kickoff, really take over at their 15. They stay on the ground, pick up 2 first downs, but a sack by Ben Holt resulting in an 8-yard loss, and incomplete pass forces them to punt from their 30. Tigers take over at our 44 and move quickly to the Union County 35-yard line on a 21-yard pass completion, Oliver Parker. Joby then goes back, throws a pass. It's deflected back to him. He catches it on the rebound and goes upfield for 10 yards. A nice play on his part, Will.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job a couple of times getting their hands up and knocking some balls down. And, we just got lucky. It fell right in Joby's hands, and, he was heads up there. And
you coach that, right?
Yeah, we work on that every day. But, he reacted pretty quick, and, I think it kind of caught them off guard. And, we got 10 yards out of it. So, good job by him. Keep playing.
And this particular kid, I think earlier in the game, had gone up to knock a pass down and hit it and could not recover to make the interception. So they were active in their defensive play as coaches have said, they were physical. They came to play. They were focused, and we had to beat them, which is ultimately what we did. So after that play, Jameer goes up, runs for 7 yards. Joby then hooks up with Trail for an 11-yard pass completion, then hits Travis Newsom on a 7-yard slant route, with Travis making a slanting catch under tight coverage again. I mean, he had two guys all over him. He goes down, slides on his knees, and hauls it in. Perfect thrown ball. Nobody could get it but Travis.
Yeah, Travis just has a knack for, kind of moving his body around, and I don't know. It's not, anything we coach him up on. He's just got a knack, for catching it and, making big plays.
And we do attempt a 2-point conversion at this point. It's no good. The pass receiver, I think, was Trail, maybe tackled at the 1-yard line on that particular play. We make the completion, but we can't get it into the end zone. Call County leading at that point 33-14, having the ball 4 times and putting up 4 touchdowns. Union County on their next possession take over at their 35 and 2 incompletions, and a negative 2-yard makes it 4th and 12. And then the Union County quarterback is sacked at this particular time for an 8-yard loss, and the Tigers taking over at the Union County 25. All the way throughout the second half, we're noticing up in the booth that Union County is not gaining any yards. They pick up 6, then they lose 8 or 9 or so on a sack, and they just can't move. The Tigers' defensive line coming alive. Who wants to speak to that, Coach McGowan?
Well, in the second half, we made some adjustments at halftime to some stuff I really didn't want to do. We went back to a lot of some of the man stuff we'd done the previous 2 weeks, and blitzed a little bit more than I was planning on having a blitz. So when we started that in the second half, we started changing on the alignment of the D-line a little bit. I think it probably confused them a little bit. They weren't probably planning on that kind of look, so I think that helped. And the thing about it, defense is, get a sack or a big 3 and out. It gives you a little life, and you start playing with a little more emotion, and you really play a lot better when you get excited and you start getting that motor going, and that's what we got that going in the second half.
Well, when you see success breeds success, as they say, in that type of situation. Tigers take over at the Union 25, but a 5-yard penalty and a 15-yard penalty against us force us back to the Union County 40, and then Joby hooks up with Oliver Parker on a nice pass over the middle. Oliver shedding a tackler and outracing the Union County defenders to the end zone. A nice play that was well blocked on that play, Coach Will.
Yeah, it's the same play Travis scored on in the first drive of the third quarter, and it was just to the opposite side. John Kelly Hughes had a big block that kind of sprung that thing, and then, like Travis's touchdown, once Oliver kind of got through there, there wasn't too much left to do besides, get it in the end zone.
He picks up the end zone pretty easily, doesn't he? See the double stripes and wants to run to it for some reason.
Yeah, he does a good job.
So we score on our 5th possession of the second half, and this time we back to the extra point, and Barrett nails that. This point in time, we're now leading 40-14 over Union County. 33-14. 4 drives. I'm stand corrected. The 40-yard touchdown was our 5th possession of the second half, and we lead now 40-14 over Union County. At this point, the game is over. Obviously, Union County doesn't do anything on their next drive. They attempt to pick up the first down on 4th down, but it fails. Turns the ball over to the Tigers, and then we come out, and Logan McGowan gets 5 carries for 23 yards. So I thought maybe he was going to break one of those carries there for a while.
Yeah, he did a really good job. This is his first year playing in high school, and he hadn't had a lot of reps. He played in that scrimmage some, And, he got out there and made some really nice cuts and had some really good runs and did a really good job.
Little savvy, football savvy that you could see, and he maybe handed down through the gene pool from his dad. He was running beautifully, cutting back, seeing lanes, not just trying to run into a pile of people, which is never successful. So again, we end the game having won it 40-14. And I'll ask Coach McClung, did we think Union, other than maybe confusing them a little bit on what we were doing defensively, wear down physically in the second half?
Yeah, they only have 36 kids on their roster, so they played a bunch of kids both ways. I tell you one thing that they really did, and it shows how unselfish some of their kids are. 19 has been playing wide receiver all year, and they put him in the backfield, and him and the running back, number 9, would switch. They would take turns running the football, and when they switched, the other one would go to fullback and block for his backfield mate. And I was really impressed with that. And the Seals kid had 20 carries, and the Sis kid had 17 carries. And on the other kid's other carries, the other kid was blocking for him. So they took their best receiver or their second best receiver, and they put him at fullback, and he's out there blocking his butt off. He did a good job. And that was something I didn't expect, and it was, they had a really good showing. I was impressed with those kids.
Those two kids, and I thought the quarterback handled himself well, except when he had to get into passing situations, and he just couldn't sustain any blocking. But the Sis kid was the one that knocked the ball back into Joby and almost had another interception on a similar type play earlier in the game. So he was landing on the line last night, and we knew he was probably their best athlete. Coach David and I talking about that on the pregame show. But you're right, they didn't quit. They played tough, but we just had answers for everything they tried to do. And we're going to pause now and take a break for these commercial messages, and we'll be back to wrap up this show in 1 minute.
WPKY. For authentic Mexican cuisine, head to La Pontesina Mexican Restaurant in Princeton or Marion. Maria's specials are a local favorite you're sure to love. Or you might want to try the new street tacos. Tacos de asada, tacos de carnita, or tacos de chorizo. La Pontesina is now open 7 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 11 to 9, Friday and Saturday, 11 to 9:30, and Sundays, 11 to 9. And they offer lunch specials Monday through Friday, 11 to 3. Be sure to like them on Facebook for updates and specials. La Pontesina Mexican Restaurant in Princeton or Marion.
The delicious meal awaits at Kay's Kitchen at the corner of West Green and North Jefferson Street here in Princeton. Kay has a delicious lunch menu daily, and here's some of her specials like meatloaf, chili and grilled cheese, liver and onions, country fried steak, grilled chicken, pork tenderloin, mashed potatoes, mixed beans, turnip greens, cabbage, okra, coleslaw, macaroni and cheese, and your choice of cornbread or rolls. You can call ahead to Kay's Kitchen if you need to at 365-2709 or dine in for a wonderful experience. On Friday nights, Kay's Catfish and Shrimp, and she's open till 8 p.m. Kay's Kitchen at the corner of West Green and North Jefferson Street here in Princeton. Telephone 365-2709.
Sundays on WPKY The Tiger, you're invited to enjoy the Sunday Singing. Hello, I'm Ken Cummins.
I am Eddie Boone.
Your host for the Sunday Singing, presented on the first Sunday by Eddy Creek Baptist Church, the second, Cedar Bluff Baptist Church, third, Lebanon Baptist Church, fourth by Charity Baptist, and the fifth Sundays by the Caldwell Lion Baptist Association. The Sunday Singing at 6 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m. on your hometown radio station, WPKY The Tiger.
And welcome back to the SMQ. This time we always take a look at the stats and break down what we accomplished last night. And in the rushing game, Derek, 13 carries, 58 yards, and again, he's just a step or two away from breaking long ones. I thought we had one or two last night that could have gone all the way. Jameer with 8 carries for 39. Logan, we mentioned, 5 carries for 23 yards. Joby, 2 for a -7. Trace Olden, 1 for a -4. And Trail Riley, 1 for a -4. Caldwell County rushing the ball 30 times last night for 105 yards. In the passing department, Joby was 20 out of 30, 3 interceptions, 6 touchdown passes, 225 yards. Oliver with 6 receptions, 103 yards, 3 touchdowns. Travis Newsom, 4 receptions, 72 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jameer Riley, 4 catches, 18 yards. Trail Riley, 3 catches, 23 yards. De'Eric, 2 catches, a -1 yard. And Joby, the pass that was knocked back to him, 1 catch for 10 yards. So 20 receptions, 225 yards. To break down what we accomplished last night, total offense, Caldwell County with 330 yards, Union County with 194, probably 10 yards of that only coming in the second half when we completely dominated them and would not let them get any drive sustained. In the tackling department, Devin Kilgore, a big game last night, David, with 14 tackles.
That's a defensive lineman with 14 tackles, and that's probably unheard of in the way we play our defense. And it's a good effort by him, but I don't think that's the way our defense is designed.
We had good play out of the defensive front last night. Going on, Caleb had 12, and he's always in just about every tackle. Travion, my guy, with 12 tackles. He gets his nose dirty last night. Mitchell Harrison on the line, 10, and Drew Davis, 10. So the defensive line was quite active last night.
Yeah, but if they would play a little better in the second half, they wouldn't have so many opportunities to make so many tackles. Sometimes you have games where you have 4 or 5 kids with 10 or 15 tackles. That's not a good sign because that means they're running a bunch of plays at you.
Well, that or it takes 4 guys to get a guy down, which is never good. Cameron Baker, who stepped in last night along with Travion, Cameron having 9 tackles, Dylan Cavanaugh 3, and it falls off considerably from 9 down to 3. Gabe East with 3, Max Ashley with 2, Ben Holt with 2, but Ben comes up big on any play. We'll get to him later. Cole Freilich, 2 tackles, Trail Riley 2, Turner Humphreys 1, Barrett Schultz 1, Elijah Shaheen 1, Kyrese White 1. In the sack department, Devin has 3, Caleb Burden 1, Dylan Cavanaugh 1, Cameron Baker a half, Drew Davis a half, Cole Freilich a half, and Ben Holt a half a sack. On that, forced fumbles, Ben forcing 1 fumble last night and Caleb forcing 1. And again, with this little segment of the show, usually I reserve a little bit for the bizarre official call of the night, but I had to take that out of the script today. We didn't have any bizarre calls last night that were puzzling to not only me, but maybe to the coaching staff.
Well, they did call our center for being offsides one time.
Well, I wondered what that was. And then the other thing, again, it's probably my 950th game in a row where we've had the proverbial sideline warning. Do they ever call that the second time and penalize the team?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, rare.
Yeah.
Maybe after they get the initial call, that they've got that out of their repertoire for that night, so they just go on about their business and that. But nothing to talk about officiating last night. So how was explained to you, David, how the center becomes offside?
They really didn't explain it. They just told us what it was, and that crew did not do a lot of explaining of their calls.
Well, there was just nothing. The call we referred to a while ago on the hit on Travis was called quickly and called correctly, as we know. But it allows the Tigers last night with this win to go to 2-0 in the district. And again, the most important game of the season is coming up this coming Friday night when we host Trigg County here in Princeton.
Yep, and hopefully our kids learn a lesson. You hope that they learn from what we did the first half last night, and they look at the film and see 2 totally different teams on that field. And you go back to the Tillman game with 0 turnovers, and for 48 minutes we played pretty good football, and that's what we're capable of. And these kids got to realize, you only get so many. And Will did a really good job before the game explaining to those kids, we've had probably 50-some practices to play 10 ball games. So why go out there and work like that for 10 games if you're not going to go out there and give it your best? And hopefully those kids learned their lesson last night. Trigg County's going to come here fired up, ready to play. We got to have a great week of preparation, and it's going to be senior night for us. And we got those 20 seniors that have been with us, and our job as coaches is to get them ready to play.
And again, it looked like we came out of the game pretty well injury-free last night. Ben looked like he was his old self running up and down the field. Thompson.
Yeah, he played well, and Travis took a couple hits last night. I think he's okay. Other than that, I think everybody's all right. Hopefully, we'll get Russ back this week. Maybe get Tate back. We don't know that yet.
Well, and last night we mentioned earlier was homecoming, and I want to give a shout out to Miss Parker Parent, who was crowned the homecoming queen last night. Congratulations to Parker. And before we get final thoughts, I'll ask Coach Mack if he has any thoughts, anything to add to the broadcast this morning. Coach McClung?
No, I mean, I'm glad Travion and Cameron Baker stepping in. I want to say something about them because, that was their – well, Cameron started a couple games last year, but it was Travion's first start. And, good teams, when people go down, people step up and take their place. And those two guys did a pretty good job last night, so I just wanted to mention them. They
also give you some depth right now that maybe earlier in the season you would have played them probably, but now, they've been baptized, as they say. On that, Coach Will, any final thoughts on your part?
We just got to do a better job of starting early and, not having them, get all upset and do all the stuff we had to do at halftime to get them ready to go in the second half. And can't turn the football over 4 times in a game, much less a half. We got to clean that up and watch the film and keep getting better.
And final thoughts from you, David?
The thing that really I was upset with is that when things kind of turned on us a little bit, what I saw on the field was our heads down. Heads started dropping, kids started pointing fingers, saying things, and that's not the way you're going to win a football game. And I pressed that up on them last night at halftime, and we got a special team, and we got a special group of kids that can go a long way. It's going to take a lot of effort, a lot of, doing what we do, teach on the field, taking that to the field on Friday night and going out there confident, ready to play. You look at the teams that win and win state championships. Those are the teams that consistently play well every Friday night. And, I think hopefully our kids learned a lesson last night. I think they did, and we'll be ready to go this weekend.
Well, each game that you have is a learning opportunity, and maybe there were more lessons to be learned last night than maybe what we learned in the Tillman game. We learned in that game we can play with anybody, and last night we just got to come ready to play.
Yeah, and we did everything we thought we could, and what we were saying to them, and again we had a really good week of preparation, and I really felt good going into the game until we warmed up, and. When I saw us warm up, I kind of he got on the headset. He said, "I'm about to throw up." He said, "We're not ready to play," and it was obvious we weren't. And just thank goodness, I told him at halftime, we're only down 14-7. We got an offense that can score at any time, and we make some adjustments here, and we go out there and do our jobs. We're going to be okay. And thank goodness that's what we did the second half.
Well, and we did a great job of that in the second half, and they were patient, I thought, last night in coming from behind and running off the last 33 points of the game, and that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Once again, Caldwell County defeats Union County last night 40-14 to go 2-0 in the district and appears to be in the driver's seat. My thanks today to Coach David Barnes, Coach Aaron McClung, Coach Will Barnes, and Coach Earl for being here in the studio this morning, and for Coach Barnes along with the coaching staff and my engineer John Miller. This is Bob Hayes urging you to enjoy this most beautiful weekend.
Seasons come and seasons go, but something that can remain the same is reliability. And here at McGregor Group Heating and Air, reliability and honesty are a few of our top priorities. So if you're looking for heating and air service, give us a call at 270-896-5044 or come visit us at 960 Varmint Trace Road here in Princeton. We're the company that you can take comfort